Hi legends, this move that's just happened has really caught a lot of traders off guard with this explosion here to the upside, and it's absolutely unreal. Here you can see we had the correction here and we didn't tap a minimum FIB level, and we had a nice impulse here to the upside. We came back for a retest without touching a critical FIB level or a minimum FIB level target, and we just rampaged here to the upside. This move has caught a lot of traders off guard. Getting that momentum back to the upside without retracing to minimum FIB levels is typical behavior what I've seen in the previous bull cycle during 2000 and 2021, and also during the start of this bull run that started here around about mid-Jan, when we had these momentums here, massive momentums here to the upside, another massive momentum. I clearly remember when you have a rampage here to the upside, you consolidate, which is perfectly fine, but these aggressive momentum pushes here to the upside often doesn't retrace to minimum FIB level targets, zooming into the smaller time frames, and it just continues to the upside, leaving traders behind. And this does remind me of the days during the previous bull cycle of 2021. Today, let's go analyze the price of Bitcoin. Let's go and look at both the bullish and bearish scenarios here on the 12-hour time frame on Bitcoin and go and assess, well, what are the probabilities for us just to continue here to the upside, or can we still expect a deeper correction and even go and claim that low at $48,900? Also, remember, there are only 3 days left to participate in the Olympics bluffing competition, and you also have only 3 days left for this 15% cashback where you sign up with the link down in the description. First link under exchanges bluffing, no KYC required. You then qualify for this 15% cashback also by participating in this competition or just depositing money into your features account to qualify for this amazing discount. Remember, only 3 days left. Don't miss out on this amazing deal. Looking at Bitcoin here on the 12-hour time frame, here is still a bearish scenario that I'm definitely still keeping an eye on, where from a technical perspective, we are still looking at a potential WXY here to the downside. And there is a possibility that the Y could be in. What is a little bit concerning about the Y structure ending over here, because a WXY is basically multiple ABCs. So as you can see, you have an A, B, C in W. You have an A, B, C in X. Okay, and now you just have one line here to the downside where people are speculating that this is the end of the correction here by Y. But you still want to see a three-wave ABC where this following scenario still makes sense, where you have an A, B, and we are now busy with the B wave here with this momentum here to the upside, where we could still see that A, B, C here to the downside coming to claim the low once again. And if this scenario is going to play out, what is very important, legends, is that the higher we go, the safer we are from a bullish perspective. Because if this is indeed the corrective structure that's going to play out over here, what you would like to see is ideally this Y wave over here, okay, needs to move over here, where you can now clearly see an A, B, C, A, B, C, A, B, C, which then completes your larger W, X, Y corrective structure over here. What is very important at the moment about this B wave over here, legends, is that when you go and calculate, well, where can the C wave end? Because I already have an A. Now I still need the B to calculate the C wave here to the downside. So I take a fib extension to measure A, okay, and we don't know where the B wave is as yet. But what's very important is the higher the B wave goes, the better for the corrective structure to the downside. So if the high is in where we are right now, you can see that the C wave targets, okay, 1-to-1 extension 1.236 is a little bit inside the danger zone. So as you can see over here, okay, you really do not want to take the low over here at $38,678 because this will change the market structure from a macro perspective. So what you would like to see is this higher low over here, the higher high over here, and you would still like to see a higher low form over here. So definitely the correction could be in at the moment, and I will go through the bullish scenario in a second, but let's just entertain and go through the bearish scenario over here. What you would like to see is the higher the B wave goes, okay, the more we can drag the FIB to the upside. And it is also still very common when you take a FIB here from the high, to the low over here, it is very common for a B wave to retrace here up until the 0.88 level. So if we can get the 0.88 level, okay, still get a rejection to the downside to come and complete the Y corrective structure over here, you will now see, okay, that the 1-to-1 and the 1.236, which are common C wave targets, is still above the low over here, where you then have a low, you have a higher high, you still have a macro, higher low, and then you complete the Y wave here to the downside, okay? You complete the Y wave here to the downside, and then the momentum starts shooting back here to the upside to go and complete that massive impulsive wave to round about $100,000 to $120,000. So legends, from a trading perspective, it is always important to have both a bullish and a bearish case scenario. And depending on how price reacts at certain levels, you know what are some of the targets where you can start taking profits and what are some of the scenarios that could help you identify where the momentum is shifting. So, I mean, no one wants to see this at the moment. Everyone is euphoric, nice momentum here to the upside. And you can see where we're currently struggling here is by the 0.618 level. Ideally, you want price to continue a little bit higher, because if we're going to start falling down from where we are at the moment, you can see that I will then have to drag my FIB down, and then the common C wave targets here by the 1-to-1 and the 1.236 is going to potentially take the low over here if we do find a rejection for a completion of the Y corrective wave, which will then increase the probabilities for more bearish scenarios. Okay, legends, I know it was depressing looking at the bearish case scenario where we could potentially still come and claim the low. Let's go and analyze the bullish case scenario. Looking at Bitcoin here on the 1-day time frame, from a bullish perspective, okay, we have to acknowledge that we have tapped the 0.5 fib level here to perfection. Okay, if this is indeed a 1, 2, 3, and we are still busy with a fourth wave over here, you can see that we have tapped the 0.382 and we have tapped now recently the 0.5. These two target boxes over here, or this target box between the two fib levels, is regarded as a really great bouncing area for a fourth wave completion here to the downside. So from a bullish perspective, what you would like to see is that perhaps this WXY correction that I've just shown from a bearish case scenario is potentially in, okay? And like I explained, yes, definitely still a probability to form a B wave here to the upside, go and grab the liquidity once again. So even from a bullish perspective, there's still the possibility that the correction could be done right now. We have tapped a maximum 50% fib level, and for a fourth wave, the 50% fib level is also usually considered the maximum target, which we have tapped now. So you really want to see impulses now continue here to the upside and not claim the 50% level again, right? Where we're now in the process of forming the fifth and final leg here to the upside. There is another extreme bullish scenario, but I first want to see how we are going to react when once we take this high. Do we break out, consolidate for a long period of time, which then tells me that this scenario is complete? But then also those bull rally runs that everyone is used to from the previous bull cycles, you usually get an explosion to the upside, a small little consolidation, which is also referred to as bull flags. It doesn't retrace to any normal fib levels, and it just continues. It consolidates, it continues, and so the momentum continues here to the upside. But I will share the most bullish case scenario once we've taken the highs over here. I would just like to keep it conservative for now. Price action is over here, and that is what we need to observe right now before we go and talk about more bullish case scenarios from an Elliott wave perspective. So from a conservative perspective, legends, it does look like we are either complete with the fourth wave and we have tapped the 50% fib level. And what you want to see is, even if we do get a rejection here, you really want to see a higher low for continuation here to the upside. Then, legends, taking the Elliott structures here out the way, the other thing we have to acknowledge, just zooming into this consolidation area that we've been in for so long, if I take a fixed range profile, okay, for this entire range that we've been in, you can see where we are currently at the moment, okay? Also, taking a fib here from the high to the low, okay, you can see this is currently where we're getting the rejection at the 0.618. The good news is we have found acceptance back inside the range. You know, when you lose the range, you get acceptance back below, you go and tap the bottom. You get a deviation, you go and tap the top. Could this be acceptance back inside the range? Small little rejection, perhaps we consolidate, you build up that momentum and that spring to continue the momentum here to the upside. Remember what I also said is this 0.88 level is still a critical level to observe the price reaction, as you could still shoot up here, form that B wave that I've spoken about, where this is an A, B, C, and go and take the low once again. Okay, so we need to observe the price reaction also in confluence with this point of control where the most volume of this entire range was traded. But for now, legends, what we would like to see is for price to remain inside of the range. If we're going to start losing the range over here, okay, then this can definitely be considered you lose the range, okay, you retest it, you're failing to break through, and you lose the range again, okay? Finding momentum back to the downside. And ideally, what you want to see in this situation over here is if we do lose the range once again, you want to see us make a higher low, okay? Where you fail to break through on the first attempt. Okay, you make a higher low, you change market structure where potentially you are now creating an impulse here back to the upside, and then on the second attempt, you break through. This structure will look really bullish and perhaps confirm momentum back to the upside to go and complete that fifth wave that I've just highlighted. During my live stream today, I will go into the 1 hour, 15-minute time frame, and we can go and dissect that current structure that's given us this momentum here to the upside in a little bit more detail. I wanted to include some of that analysis in this video, but the video is getting a little bit long. So I'm just going to cut it right here. Thanks for watching. Smash up the like if you enjoyed the alpha. And until the next one, legends, cheers for now.